Alicia and today we are off to another comp. I am really excited about this one because I actually spontaneously entered Sugar in a Novice. Purely because I didn't want to just go and do a prelim, and I didn't want to just put her in a prep test because that is just not like, doesn't need to be going and doing a prep test, she needs to be cantering in her tests. So there was only one test in each level, so I spontaneously entered her in the Novice. This horse has only had like 4 to 5 months under saddle. It's okay, we'll see what happens. She'll be fine. It's just not going to be the neatest Novice, but she can do everything in a Novice. It's just probably not quite competition ready, but I didn't really want to travel an hour just for one test, so yeah. It is a very frosty morning here. I'm just letting the car defrost. It's about -2 degrees here at the moment. So, beautiful winter's morning. Sorry, I'm shaking. I am shivering like crazy. Sugar, I'm trying to graze you, not lunge you. Okay, so as always, I thought I'd do a voiceover of these tests. So the first test of the day was the 1.3. Now, just a little FYI, keep in mind, Sugar has only been under saddle for 5 months. She's still very, very green, so her frame is 2. So you'll see she's actually a horse that is a little bit too soft in the mouth. Like, I know that's a weird thing to say. A lot of people have, you know, issues with the horse, like struggling to get the horse round and on the bit, but she's actually, like, you'd almost say that her mouth is a little bit too soft. She's very, very prone to slipping slightly behind the vertical, and if you guys have worked with young horses, you would know that this is not necessarily an uncommon thing, because she does not quite have the strength to hold herself consistently in the perfect frame all the time. And considering this is also a competition environment, so she carries a bit more tension through her body when she holds no tension in her body at home. So just also keep that in mind. She's very green. As I said, had 5 months under saddle, and you can just tell by the way she goes round, she's still not quite strong enough to hold herself in a frame all the time. And those little head, like that you're just watching when she kind of tosses her nose in the air, that's actually her. I know you can't hear it because the sound's off, but when she snorts, she actually throws her head up like that. And it's something that, again, just because she's not quite strong enough that when she snorts through her nose, she can't quite hold herself properly still, so she just comes a bit above the bit. And as you saw, there was a sneaky little flying change there, which wasn't supposed to happen, but she came back really nicely. I was just, you know, starting to half halt for a downward transition, and she felt she should do a flying change. But yeah, so she was very good in this test, just tense, and slipping a bit behind the vertical because she was tense. Because that's, like, she doesn't go like that unless she is tense, actually. At the start, we really, you know, we did struggle, I should say. I struggled getting her head in front of the vertical, but once she really softened and relaxed into the work, she's fine. But obviously, this is only her 3rd comp, and this is a pretty busy pony club competition. She had a lot of kids and ponies running around her in the warm-up, and there were bikes and things going around, which all are things, like, she's not too familiar with. So she handled herself really, really well. Yeah, so we're just, after a long way walk, I'm just putting her in the medium walk, getting ready to trot again. And she starts a little bit tight again. As you can see, she's just a little bit tight in that neck, and I'm trying to push her forward a little bit, and as well as kind of giving my reins a little bit. But she does relax really nicely in the second test, and you'll see that she's a little bit more through in the next test, just because she started to get more familiar with her environment and everything. A lovely little canter transition. I'm just trying to push her out and push her forward to help push that nose forward as well. And then we come for a 20-meter circle. And come back around, and the comments for this test were, as expected, just said a little bit tense, would like to see her more through in the neck, but also got a really nice comment saying, wait, I've actually got the tests right in front of me. so I can read you exactly what the judge said. So, some active paces, horse a little tense and stiff through the neck, but shows lots of potential once more relaxed, very well ridden with good training method. So that's what the judge said on the first test, which was very nice and very fair. As you can see here, we attempt the long rein trot, and this is a good representation of, you can see I'm throwing the reins at her and she's still tipping a little bit behind the vertical, so it's got nothing to do with how I'm holding her. I threw my reins at her then. She could have put her head right up in the air if she wanted to, but that's just a good demonstration to show it's nothing to do with my contact, it's just her strength. And it was also something her dad was very prone to as well when he was a young horse. I found out on the weekend he was very similar as a young horse, and just like it literally feels like they're almost too soft in the mouth, where it's just like a little bit too soft in the frame, which will be fine later on. She just needs to build more strength up to be able to hold herself correctly, and as I say, relax more and more into her new environments. But in this test we had a slightly better frame. So in the last test she got a 68% and she placed third, which was really nice. And this is the Novice 2.2, so this is Sugar's first Novice, and as you can see she was a little bit behind me just there, but I'm pushing her forward, and as you can see her nose is a little bit in front at times. And then we got a really nice trot along the diagonal there, where she's got a much nicer frame. I'm just really focusing on pushing her forward with my leg, but also keeping her balanced, and that's where it can kind of get a bit tricky with the frame, but she did really well. Here we have our first leg yield, and she went across quite nicely. She scored a 6.5 for this leg yield. Obviously it's hard to see at this angle, but she did a very correct leg yield and only showed a slight bit of resistance. And then here we come across the next diagonal. As you can see, she's pushing a little bit more forward there. Can't really see much from this angle, obviously. And then we come up the center line for her next leg yield. But she's going around very, very quietly and nicely, which is really nice. And that's the main thing you obviously want from a young horse. She's going forward and she's going happy. This leg yield was a little bit better, and she scored a 7 for this leg yield. And then we come up the center line for a walk. And we actually do have a little moment in this test, which I'll talk about when it happens, but you'll actually see why she had a little bit of a moment. And it's coming up after this long rein. So first of all, as you can see, I'm trying to push my hands forward, give her her frame, and you can see the slack in my reins there. She's starting to push her nose out a little bit, but still, like, you can see my reins flopping around. It's just the way that she goes, and that's how she's happy. But obviously I'm constantly trying to correct her and encourage her to put her nose a little bit further forward, but that comes in time. And as I said, if you guys work with young horses, you will know that that's what some of them can be like. Some are harder to get round, some are almost too easy, and they just need that encouragement to kind of go out a little bit more. So there's the first canter, a little bit of an average weird moment she got a nice transition, then kind of pulled her head forward a little bit. As you can see, so this is a 15-meter circle. She had a better frame along that circle. And here I really tried to give her my reins because I felt her sucking back, and I'm really, really throwing my reins at her. You can see them kind of flopping around, and she's putting her head a little bit in front at times, then sucking back, but at least she's starting to go a little bit more forward in the head. And then we come across the diagonal, a little bit of an average transition here, but I hope you guys have been watching my previous comp videos with Sugar to see the massive improvement in this horse, because she has developed so much. Now, quickly, you can see those bike riders coming past just behind her. They screamed as I got to do my 15-meter circle, and it scared Sugar, and this is what she did. You'll see it here. She kind of saw them, she heard them scream, she just had a little bit of a panic. I just kept her on a 15-meter circle, pushed my reins forward, kept my leg on, and just kept her forward, and she went on. But it was just a bunch of cheeky little boys who'd have thought it would be funny to scream and try and upset the horses as they went past. But as you can see, she came back really, really nicely, and we had a nice canter down that long side. I didn't ask for a lengthen because I just wanted her to relax into the canter again and not get overwhelmed. But yeah, so now we're back into trot, a bit of a nicer frame there, and here I ask for a long rein trot. She immediately sucks her head back as soon as she drops her head, because that's just what she does, but I'm really trying to push her forward and just give her my rein and trying to aid her as best I can for where she's at in her training. But yeah, so she scored a 65% for her first novice, which was amazing, and came fourth. So I was so proud of Sugar, and I can't wait for the upcoming comps and to get out there more and more and develop her the best way I can. Okay guys, so I'm so incredibly happy with Sugar. I honestly put her in this novice test just because, as I said, like, I just wanted to make sure I was going and making it worthwhile me going, and I didn't expect her to do such a nice novice test. Obviously we had the issue with the bike riders, but that's fine. She handled herself really well, and it's just, I just can't get over it. Like, sorry, I'm fiddling with the cord. I've had this horse under saddle for a total of 5 months, ridden work. She had a month off when I was injured, so it's been 5 months that she's been broken in for, and to say that today she did a novice test with a qualifying score is just crazy, honestly. I'm really proud of her. I'm really happy. So we got a 68% and a 65%. 65 was in the novice and 68 was in the prelim. So I'm really incredibly happy with her, honestly. She handled herself so well for a lot that was going on, and honestly I can't wait to put this video out for you guys to watch, because obviously I've posted her very first competition and her second comp. This was her third, and I hope you guys can see the difference that I can see in her. I just wanted to read some of the comments as well from the judge. Got a really lovely comment. Again, like from my last competition, we got a really nice comment from one of the judges about the training and everything and how I rode her, and it was just really nice to again get a similar comment like that. So the comment from the first test was some active paces. Horse was a little tense and stiff through the neck, but shows a lot of potential once she's more relaxed. Very well ridden with good training methods. So that was really nice. Like, just having someone comment on the training just makes me feel so good, because obviously I've broken that horse in. I've done all of her training myself. I'm the only rider she's ever had on her. So it just feels really good to get comments like that about the training. And then in the second test, I got free paces, would like to see softer through the neck and more lateral movement, very calmly ridden. So again, I mean, didn't say quite as much as the other judge, but nice nonetheless. And I know that she needs to be a bit, like, relax a bit more through the neck, and she did show more relaxation in that second test, but we just kind of need to keep encouraging her just to stretch down and lower a bit more. But as you guys will have seen from watching the previous vlogs, every competition she's getting better and better. So I am so excited to get her out again in another 2 weeks time. We're going to be at SIAC. It's a bit of a different atmosphere for her, and I'm really excited. And I think from after the next competition, I will start to compete her in official tests, because I'm still competing her unofficially, just because I don't want to be having scores that I'm not super happy with on her file. Like, her, you know, I want the official scores to be good scores. So she's scoring really well. She scored absolutely super at all of the comps she's done, especially these last two. She's scored consistently 68% again. So I think we'll do one more comp just to make sure she's well and truly exposed and consistent, and then I will start entering her in some official comps. I'll get her EA licensed and do all that, and then she hopefully will have good scores on her show record. But yeah, I'm really happy with her, and I hope you guys enjoyed watching, and I'll see you guys next time I post, which will probably be the next vlog I do competing. Okay, bye!